Welcome into the Runners Live on Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. This is the state of America right now. Just frozen. No idea what's going on. Bro, this is where we're at right now in America. They have no idea what's going on.
This is why I awarded the Medal of Freedom to Miss Oprah Lee as well, the grandmother of Juneteenth. She knows so long as she was denied, our freedom can never be secured. Her decades-long march brought her here to the White House when she stood by my side as I signed the Juneteenth federal holiday.
I mean, Mims, here we are. What is going on in the world right now, man? It's absolutely crazy. I don't even know how to handle it. You got to make it make sense, brother.
Yeah, and Joe Biden, it's
Something.
he just gotta laugh sometimes. It's amazing that people really think that he's good for another 4 years. That's the hard part that I find out of everything. But it's the dog and pony show. It's all a circus. In one light, they act like they're for the people. And then when you look at their record since they've been in government, you realize they've passed bills that have been against, especially Black and brown folks, but it's all hypocrisy. They're walking contradiction, hypocrites. It's just crazy that some people actually buy into it and believe that these people are actually looking out for their best interest, when we know that the whole system is a fugazi. It's all based off of fake money, fake teachers, fake everything, fake politicians. The whole system is fake. And right now people are waking up to that, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, and I think having a president, again, listen, I don't like Democrats or Republicans. Okay. 99% of the people in the government are absolutely insane idiots. And I think we can all agree on this. All right. The question is,
it's corruption.
What are we gonna do about it?
Yeah. The system's corrupt from the root. Yep. When you have the Federal Reserve, that's why I think it was I don't know if it was J.P. Morgan, but one of them said, I don't care who writes the nation's laws as long as I control the money. So when you realize that it's about who controls the money, not who writes the laws.
Bingo.
And when you realize the Federal Reserve and the bankers are the one who control the money, then you understand why we have a corrupt and broken political system.
No, 100% facts, bro. And we got some big shakeups today in the asset market cap. NVIDIA, which is graphics cards, computers, has moved up to number 2.
AI. Yeah.
Yep. AI, computers, blockchain,
chips,
cryptocurrency, chips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Microsoft 3, Apple 4. This is a huge shakeup here. Of course, gold, still the number 1 asset in the world. Has been for, I don't know, 500 years probably. At $2,343. Silver at number 8. At under 30, of course. Okay. This is why we buy silver every day. Bitcoin at $65,000. I mean, guys, this is like Mims. I mean, this is what people need to be paying attention to about what matters.
Yeah. We've always kept it consistent. And I think that's what people value about what we do, how we do it in our information. We're consistent. We're constantly, continuously, consistently, updating people on what's going on in the economy. what you need to be doing and how to do it the best way that's going to preserve your wealth and grow it for you. And, we always check those top assets because, once again, we're in the top assets. We're in physical silver. You know what I mean? We're in gold. We're in blockchain. This is the stuff that we talk about. And the thing about when it comes to wealth and success, it's not overnight. It's, constantly, continuously, consistently. It's at least once a month getting an ounce of silver, and every month. Now you're talking about 12 months in a year. And then you're talking about every other year or every year that you're buying silver. And then you look back after 2, 3, 4, 5 years, a decade, you've been saving your money in this asset that is increasing in value. You and getting into blockchain and crypto early. A lot of people say, I would have wished that I had got into Bitcoin early, or I wish that I had gotten to these assets early, or I wish I had got it when it was cheaper. Well, this is what we've been doing. We've been accumulating these assets, participating in these markets, staying updated on what's going on around the world. So we know that in the next year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and so on, there's no way that a wealthy family doesn't come from us, and we're living a much better lifestyle than we're living today because we're doing the right things with our assets. And we want to make sure that we give that information out to y'all as well. So you're going to watch us. You can win with us.
That's it, man. That's it. And you sent me an amazing video today, man. Like, this is a 7-minute video, and it's what we're going to talk about tonight because it literally perfectly explains what I'm learning and what I want people to understand. So there's so much good stuff in here. And again, Redacted, I think, is one of the best channels you can watch. They're on TikTok, they're on YouTube. Okay. Like, this is what is going on, and we're going to break it down and make it make sense.
Sometimes I think I must be living in a nightmare. How is it possible that in 3 short years we have witnessed such a monumental shift in the global world order that it would leave the Roman Empire shocked and appalled? After all, the Roman Empire took about 200 years to finally collapse. It was a slow burn. This week, we saw a number of massive stories that were once again ignored by the mainstream media, from the BRICS nations shaking up the financial system to major geopolitical movements involving Russia, China, and Saudi Arabia. Putin calling for peace, and NATO crapping all over it, saying, no, we don't want your peace. Take your peace and shove it. We want more war.
And this is what's crazy, Ricardo, is like, you and I watch all this stuff, right? We talk, we're like, oh my gosh, can you believe this happening? 95% of people have no idea this is going on.
No. I've talked to somebody just the other day, and they had no idea that Russia has warships and submarines off the coast of Florida.
Right.
They're like, what? Russia? What? They had no idea. I'm like, how do you not know this? There's a lot of things that are going on.
Yeah.
And they're happening. Things that normally took decades, are happening, in months. I mean, there's this rapid acceleration of, governments and institutions and banks moving towards blockchain technology, shift away from the dollar, a lot of, military and strategic assets being moved all around the planet. There's a lot going on. And most people just have no idea how many things have taken place already. And by the time they realize, it might be too late. But this is why we like to keep you guys informed.
Yeah. And again, I'm not mad at these people. I don't think it's their fault. It's just they don't have time to pay attention, or, they listen to mainstream media. So this is why we do what we do, is we want to really give you guys the truth of what is going on, and then you can decide what to do.
So this is not a peace proposal.
To Biden, shaking hands with Zelensky, agreeing to fund Ukraine for another 10 years. 10 more years,
Crazy.
Billions of dollars, while America crumbles.
Stupid.
Yes, we're going to send billions to the most corrupt government in Europe.
I think Zelensky is maybe the greatest salesman of any politician that's ever lived. Every time he comes to our country, he walks away with $60 billion.
The winds of change are blowing strong right now.
And I just want to point this out. I don't care whether you're a Democrat or Republican. The fact that we are giving billions of dollars to Ukraine and Israel is insane.
I mean, we talk about this on the presentations. What people don't understand is that when they say they're giving money and they're creating money, they're saying we're going to destroy the poor and the middle class.
Yep.
Anytime you hear them say that we're going to create money for something, war, even if it's to give money to people, who need it or whatever it is, the more, because it's not money, it's debt. So the more debt that they create, the more fiat currency they create, it takes away from the value of the currency in circulation, which is wiping out the poor and the middle class because they have to pay for it with a higher cost of living and taxation. So really, it's a war against the poor and the middle class, and that's what most people don't realize. When they're supporting this and saying, "Hey, we need to give money for this, and we need to do this and that," but they don't understand there's no such thing as a free lunch. Who's going to pay for it? And it's the poor and the middle class that are paying for it. They're getting wiped out and eradicated, while the wealthy are getting wealthier. The 1% will always get wealthier because the 1% are doing what we're telling you to do. You take your dollars and you buy assets. The assets will rise because of the massive money printing and inflation. But most of poor and middle class people, they don't have assets. They have liabilities. They have expenses. But this is why we tell people to look, get with us so you can get physical silver and get it at the best price, because this is an asset. This is a tier 1 asset. It has zero risk associated to it along with gold. It's the easiest way, whether you're poor or middle class, to start to actually have an asset. Okay, it's not just real estate. That's an asset. Physical metal, gold and silver, and you want to build your war chest. And that's what we're doing. We're slowly but surely building our war chest and God's money, getting ready for the inevitable collapse of the fiat currency model system and the wealth transfer that's coming into a real resource-based money system.
Just if you guys didn't know, Ukraine is literally just money washing. Okay?
Yeah, it's just money laundering.
Yeah, it's money laundering. Okay, I'm not going to explain it. I already know it's true.
People don't even know how wealthy Zelensky is. This man has mansions all over the world.
Yeah,
he's got so much money, and they've canceled elections. There's no elections in there. He's essentially a dictator.
Bro, we're defending democracy, though.
Democracy, but but he's a dictator.
Democracy when they stop elections.
They've canceled elections, and then every time Putin comes out with a peace deal, they reject the peace deal. And they say they want to go to war, and people don't really understand this because Europe is collapsing right before our eyes. Africa is no longer going to get raped and exploited for their resources. So they're saying no more to France and no more to these other countries. The European nations are in massive debt. The debt to GDP is insane. It's over collectively, I think it's like 130% debt to GDP ratio. They're in collapse. The G7 nations are in decline, and so they want to go to war. They want to go to war with Russia, and that is the worst thing that they can do. They're better off trying to work with Russia. But the funny thing is that they're getting, I want to say, 2/3 of their energy from Russia. A lot of, they're reliant upon Russia. But now they want to go to war with Russia, and they're trying to do that through their proxy over there in Ukraine.
Well, and listen, guys, we will probably get canceled again. This will probably get banned. We are taking a lot of risk even putting this information out on the internet. So if you're watching this, like it, share it out. You can share it privately with people, okay? But Mims, we might want to tone it down a little bit. We're probably
It's public information now. Yeah. No, most people don't know this.
Yeah, let's dial it back a little bit. We don't want to get banned and canceled right away. All right, but let's get into this video because it's fire.
Right now, so buckle up because we're going to dive deep into all of this tonight. So let's start with the transformative events recently announced by the BRICS nations. Now, if you're not familiar with BRICS, it started, as the name suggests, as a loose economic and trade partnership between Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And now it's exploded, becoming a powerhouse, creating their very own currency away from the US dollar dominance. And countries are racing right now to join the BRICS coalition and ditch the US dollar. Well, we have two huge BRICS stories this week. First, BRICS announced a new payment system that directly challenges the dominance of the US dollar in international transactions. No more SWIFT system. Guys, the currency part of it is one thing, But the infrastructure to settle transactions is now out of U.S. hands. This move marks a significant step away from the dollar-centric global economy that we've been knowing for decades. Even more shocking is the end of a 50-year agreement between the United States and Saudi Arabia, which required the export of oil exclusively in U.S. dollars.
Saudi Arabia has officially ended its 50-year petrodollar agreement with the United States, shifting to a multi-currency system.
So on June 9th, 2024, just a few days ago, this agreement officially ended. That's right. Saudi Arabia officially said bye-bye. The Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, has chosen not to renew the partnership with the United States, opting instead to open Saudi oil trade to other countries and other currencies. Hello, China. Hello, Russia. I mean, holy smokes, guys. I mean, I can't understate how big a deal this is.
Mims,
Yeah.
again, we could literally talk about this for 5 hours. Can you just maybe break it down and make it make sense
Yeah, of
how
course.
huge
Yeah.
this is?
Well, the reason that BRICS came about is because the weaponization of the financial system and the weaponization of the dollar, and people realizing that if they'll do it to them, it's just a matter of time before they do it to us. You know, what if we don't vote the way they want us to vote on the next UN deal? You know, what if we do something that they don't like? Are we next on the chopping block? Will they put sanctions on us? You know, will they limit our ability to conduct global trade and commerce and try to force us into a position like economic hitmen that they are, and you know, enslave us through debt, and so that's why you're seeing what you're seeing with BRICS and the escalation of them dumping treasuries, dumping dollars, looking at bilateral trade in their own currencies and blockchain. Now, that doesn't mean that the dollar is going to be done tomorrow because the contract is up. The U.S. dollar is still one of the most liquid, currencies in the world. And, other currencies, even Saudi Arabia currency, is still pegged to the dollar. But the reason that this information is important is because we're talking about a trend. And when you look at, if your grandparents had did the right things for you, for themselves and you financially 50 years ago, where would you be if they had been saving in silver and gold the whole time? Yep. This is the opportunity that we have because we're right at the beginning of the shift where things are escalating, where we're seeing the world moving away from the Western influence and power and control over the monetary system and locking arms and creating a more fair, even, equal playing ground that's based on, a trustless system, which is blockchain technology, and is backed by real assets, tier one assets, God's money, and so that is what they don't want you to realize. This is why we're telling people that you have to, on a constant and continuous and consistent basis, save your money, but you don't save it in dollars. You save it in physical silver and gold, especially if you're a risk adverse person. Okay. Zero risk associated to gold and silver. This is how you save your money, secure the purchasing power of your money, and grow it at the same time.
No, 100%, brother. And again, this is why we started with Joe Biden. Okay. Again, I could get into American politics and foreign policy for days. But the point is, we are losing right now. We're losing big time. And again, I don't wish ill on anyone anywhere in the world, but what we're doing right now does not make any sense, and it's hurting a lot of people, and it needs to change. We're going to show you guys how to get over this and do what's right for you and your family.
And you must understand BRICS is an organization, a bloc that has openly called for de-dollarization. So having Saudi Arabia, the backbone of the petrodollar, join BRICS, you couldn't make up a bigger slap in the face.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you they are not feeling very good right now in Washington, D.C.
This is a massive blow to the status of the U.S. dollar as the world's only reserve currency, a position it has held for 5 decades. Now, we've been warning for months that this was about to happen. With Saudi Arabia now joining China's central bank digital currency project, we are witnessing a seismic shift in the landscape of global trade and global finance. The era of the U.S. dollar as the sole superpower currency is officially over. This is not hyperbole. U.S. dollar dominance is now over. Liberals can try to spin it any way they want, but you're not stupid. And none of those fawning members of the Biden press corps are going to ask the White House about it. They're too stupid to understand how big a deal this is. Last week, U.S. Congressman Thomas Massie appeared on Tucker Carlson's show with an unfiltered breakdown of what's happening to the U.S. dollar. He didn't hold back.
Okay, I have to just tell you guys, Thomas Massie is one of the 3 people in Washington, D.C. that I love. Okay, Thomas Massie is a huge libertarian from Kentucky. I watched this entire interview with him and Tucker Carlson. Everyone needs to watch this. I don't care your political opinions. You need to watch Thomas Massie with Tucker Carlson. It was amazing. Okay, so just listen to him. Again, he attacks Republicans. He attacks Democrats. He is all about just let's have liberty and freedom. And what he says here is absolutely mind-blowing.
At some point, they're going to quit using our dollars as reserve currency. I mean, I watched your interview with Putin, and one of the things, whether you hate him or not, one of the things he said that is true is when we sanctioned him, before we sanctioned Russia, 70% of their transactions were in US dollars. And after the sanctions, it's less than 20% of their transactions are in US dollars.
As Massie points out, every time the U.S. government
Mims, literally, Joe Biden can't even dance at a June 19th celebration. And this government policy is shooting ourselves in the foot of sanctioning Russia to where they go from 70% of what they're doing in dollars to 30%. I mean, bro, this is like just insanity.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all wars are bankers' wars. And that's, that's what it's really coming down to. Like we said, it's the collapse of the G7 nations and the rise of, the BRICS nations and the turmoil that is, that has to ensue because of that. And so that's what we're watching. When countries, and they've always painted Russia and China as their enemy, but these are the countries that they're getting their resources from. Yeah. China produces everything. Russia is a major producer of oil and other commodities and things. So, I mean, it's like you said, they're shooting themselves in the foot. And then, of course, let's not forget, they blew up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Joe Biden did, authorized that to take place. And that really, screwed Europe in the foot, so there's just these dynamics. And the thing is that when you start to see this, you can start to see where it's going. And then you can start to make the preparations that you need to, because nobody's coming to save you. The government not going to tell you, hey, this is what you need to do. This is the best thing to do. No, it's up to you to come up with that own understanding and intuition and discernment for yourself and your family.
No, 100%, man. And again, I don't want to get political, but this is just like laughable at this point of what is going on. So let's keep going, guys, and see how we can change the world.
Introduces a new economic sanction, the world moves one step closer to de-dollarization. The same thing is happening right now with the U.S. government's microchip battle against China. The same thing is happening with AI and electricity with China. The United States has to basically double our electricity output just to compete with China on the AI and microchip front. President Trump just admitted this.
And the electricity needs are greater than anything we've ever needed before to do AI at the highest level. And China will produce it because they'll do whatever you have to do, whereas we have environmental impact people, and we have a lot of people trying to hold us back. But massive amounts of electricity are needed in order to do AI. And we're going to have to generate a whole different level of energy.
We've fallen.
Okay.
What came across my mind?
Trump is the GOAT for, like, you got to watch. I don't know if you watched his interview with Logan Paul. It was hilarious. But go ahead.
What came across my mind was, he talked about AI and the energy consumption. If you ever remember the movie The Matrix, Morpheus broke down to Neo that, we were converted into the battery cells to fuel the machines. And then, when he showed Neo the Matrix, he showed all of us in these pods, in this matrix, and we were the batteries that were keeping the machines alive. And when you look at this system, this debt-based fiat system, we were the resource that kept it alive. They were able to create and hypothecate debt because of their ability to tax and borrow, right? But they've done it to a point of exhaustion to where the debt is insurmountable, and the interest payment is too big. We're almost $1 trillion, just in the interest payment.
Yep.
And it's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. And in that process of this system ending is our freedom. This is why it's an opportunity. This is why we get excited, because this is a shift. This is a shift that must take place that's going to free humanity from the slaves matrix system that we're in into a whole new zeitgeist and paradigm. And we're just going through what has to take place. But if you do not do the right things during this time, if you do not heed the warnings, if you do not, acquire the right information and assets and prepare yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and everything else, you won't make it.
Nope.
No, neither will your loved ones.
Bro, that was absolute fire, man. I mean, like, guys, we do this because we love you, okay? Trust me, we don't want to do this. We don't want to tell you these truths. We don't want to, again, we're probably going to get canceled and shadow banned and everything they always do to us when we try to tell you these truths. We don't want to have to do this, but we have to do it because we love you and we want to see better for you.
It just comes down to strategy. We're acquiring these assets. We're in blockchain and crypto. I mean, even I got my shirt on from when I went to Belize. Okay, and we're securing some property out there, and we got some more information coming. With this community that's being built out there in Belize. Some good updates I got. So we're definitely gonna put that video out there for some folks. But it just comes down to options, whether it's dual citizenship, whether you got some assets outside of you, some land outside of the United States. You know how to move your crypto around, not your keys, not your crypto. Crypto is borderless. Having physical, silver and gold in-house, and knowing how to just do things. Even today, I went to my local, a spring. I get my water out the ground. Knowing how to, source clean drinking water, and things of that nature is critical. In these times, especially depending on where you are and where you're living in the U.S. and in the world.
Yeah. No, and I think it comes down to, again, let's get past politics. It comes down to, do you trust your government? And 99% of people I've ever met, no matter their beliefs, say no.
It's not our government.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's what we're trying to get you guys to see.
Yeah.
So far behind China, it's disgusting. Saudi Arabia is also considering full BRICS membership later this year and is expanding its oil trade to include more countries and currencies. This is a direct threat to the petrodollar system that has propped up the U.S. economy for decades. But the BRICS shockwave doesn't stop there. Something seismic happened on June 10th and the 11th at the BRICS foreign ministers meeting. 59 new countries announced plans to join BRICS. I mean, what? 59 new countries? And during the meeting, they agreed to an astonishing $78 billion in bilateral trade deals. Yes, they publicly announced plans to ditch the US dollar also at this meeting for local currencies in cross-border transactions. So they made this announcement. We're done. We're done using the US dollar. This is game over, folks. Russian President Putin laid it out this week.
One of the greatest mistakes of the United States is they're prohibiting from using dollar as in international payments and using it as a tool, and they're simply undermining the trust towards dollar. It's just ridiculous.
And I'm just going to be honest here and tell you guys, I think this was done on purpose. One of Biden's strategic economic advisors literally says we want to de-dollarize the dollar so that America is weak. So, again, I won't go off this on much, but I just got to speak my truth here, Mims. I believe Joe Biden and the Democrats want America to be weak, and that is why we are here where we are at.
Yeah. And a lot of people, a lot of governments and countries are realizing that you grow your economy not through debt, but through innovation and growth, in business. The IMF and the World Bank, they give out loans and they straddle these nations with debt, and then they force them to, make all kind of concessions and how they run their country and the resources that they have, and they make them, sell them for cheap, and then they have to buy back the refined version or the product at a higher price, and they realize that this, it's not really help. They give with one hand and they take with the other. And here you have BRICS, which is more of an equal and fair playing field. When China and a lot of these other countries, they go in and they'll write off the debt. They're building the infrastructure, and they're helping out a lot of countries in Africa more so than just, giving them debt and then putting them in debt and things of that nature. And so when there's an alternative, before there was no alternative to the world power, to the dollar, to the SWIFT system, that was it. But you give people an option, you give the world an alternative, and you let them decide. And this is what we're seeing, that the world is deciding the role with BRICS and the new development of what they're doing with blockchain and commodities and assets versus the G7 old debt-based fiat monetary system that's collapsing.
Yeah, bro. It's like it's a planned collapse at this point. It's wild. I don't
It was inevitable. It was inevitable from the Federal Reserve's inception. So now it's all about control. And it's controlled demolition. That's really what we're looking at. Yeah, this is controlled demolition of the U.S. economy. And it was set up by the Federal Reserve. The central bank was the worst thing that could ever happen to this country. The founding fathers, Andrew Jackson, and others have, spoke about that. The biggest accomplishment for him was he said he defeated the banks.
Shout out to Andrew Jackson, bro.
It's the Federal Reserve is public enemy number one. If you want to point your fingers at somebody, it's not really Joe Biden. It's not Obama. It's not Trump. It is literally the Federal Reserve. It is the central bank. It is the bankers. They're the ones that have put this nation in debt and forced us to make these type of concessions and forced us, to be in this position that we are in here in the U.S. and abroad.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is why we call him Mims, making it make sense. You just learned more in that 2 minutes than you did your entire history courses in high school. So you're welcome.
Yeah, they should have taken care of the dollar and to preserve it and to raise its profile and its standing. They're simply killing it off with their own hands.
Putin knows exactly what he's doing, allowing these developing countries to start moving away from the US dollar, stop being bullied by the United States. Oh boy. President Biden's foolish sanctions against Russia have turned the world against the US dollar. And China knows exactly what's coming. That's why they've been dumping U.S. treasuries like a bad habit.
And we're also sending a really clear signal, which is the dollar's not safe for you.
Right.
It's the reserve currency because it's a safe haven, because it's a stable country. It's the most stable country in the world, and we're not going to weaponize the dollar because that would be shooting ourselves. But suddenly we are.
This BRICS system seeks to eliminate the global dominance of the US dollar, creating a payment system using local currencies that is free from US sanctions and outside political pressure. And now that NATO has rejected Putin's peace agreement to end the war in Ukraine, we are in for a totally different world over the next few years. So guys, that's the news update.
Wow. I mean, Mims, this is one of the craziest lives we've ever done. Like, I wish I didn't know how much of a big deal this was, but it's huge. Yeah. So what should people do right now? I mean, what are the answers here?
Well, one thing is don't listen to mainstream media. It's one big psyop. It's this social engineering program. What I mean? They got so many people like caught in the rat race and just trying to maintain, because that's how they keep you. You can't even think about, this stuff. It's out of your sphere of thought because you're so bogged down into just the ADLs, the activities of daily living. that you can't even start to think about the higher atmospheres of society and in government and international business and politics. But this is why we say the simplest thing that you can do is hedge, which, have a defense against, these known and unknown forces, and that's saving in physical silver and gold. It doesn't have to be complicated. Learning how to trade is not something that everybody can do. And, getting into blockchain and doing DeFi, yield farming, liquidity pools, and it's some degen stuff. It's not easy. Not that you can't do it, but the average person, some people don't know how to copy and paste. But it's very simple to just set up an account, set it on automatic, convert dollars into silver, hold on to the silver, and secure your wealth and grow it, and know that you have real money. But they're weaponizing the dollar. The dollar is not.
Mims, are you saying I can just buy real money and hold on to it and it'll go up?
In fact, maybe we should we're going to do the prices on them tonight, Mike. We're going to show them the real-time pricing. This is the thing. It's like the dollar is not a safe haven asset, and I talked to somebody the other day and I said, well, how are you saving the money? And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, you saving in dollars? They're like, yeah, and I'm like, well,
for real?
How are you? Well, you're right.
Like they were putting dollars into a bank account?
Yeah, Mike, you know that. Come on now. Everybody.
No, I don't.
Everybody say, yeah, we don't do that. No, it's pointless
in the club getting tipsy.
Right. I mean, look, there's no point in saving dollars at the bank. They aren't giving you any interest on your money. Okay. The dollar is losing value because of inflation. They're printing trillions of dollars. It's going to cause it to lose value. The bank is loaning out 100% of your money. The money's not even there. Okay. It's a major liability. The FDIC has came out and said that 63 banks are insolvent. So we're still probably going to see closer towards the end of this year a banking collapse. Okay. We're going to see a market crash. Commercial real estate overvalued. The Federal Reserve is going to have to do something with interest rates, and they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place, with the economy right now, because they have a domestic policy and they have an international or foreign policy, and you can't serve two masters. They can't take care of America and also take care of the world at the same time. With the system that we have. And so that's what we're going to see is the Federal Reserve is going to have to try to make the dollar still seem credible internationally. And that's going to hurt us here at home in our markets. And, they print us to, continue to print more money, which then the rest of the world is really going to fire sell our bonds and treasuries because we don't have any fiscal responsibility. We're just creating debt and printing money all over the place. So, it's not hard to see. And the action you need to do is not hard. The simplest way that we tell people is saving silver and gold. Definitely in the process, learn about blockchain and digital assets and things of that nature. But you have to have a foundation, and that foundation is in God's money, 100%.
So, Mims, I'm going to let you talk about Tether launching a new synthetic dollar backed by gold in just a minute here. But let me give you guys the solution right now. Okay. If you watched tonight, you saw, obviously, we all know the dollar's going down, inflation, debt, all that. Okay. You have got to start buying real money every single month. Get your kids, get your family, get your friends to do the same thing. And you start buying Bitcoin or cryptocurrency every single day. I don't care if it's $1 or $2 or 20 or 100. I don't care. Okay. You have got to start an automatic process of getting real money. The dollar is not money. It is debt. You are enslaved. We are all enslaved. So take what your master is giving you and start getting freedom. Oh, how much simpler the amount of questions people ask me about Bitcoin is like, but how does it work? What is Bitcoin? I don't get it. What does it do? How does it work? I'm like, you don't know how dollars work. That is how much you are a slave to the system. Is you don't even know how dollars work, yet you do it and you submit to it every day. You are such a slave. Just
Yeah, I
break
don't have
free
to
and do
trust.
something.
Yeah. Yep. Tomorrow's Juneteenth. You know, most people didn't wake up
Break
to
free.
realize they were slaves until later on.
That's
You know,
right.
but we were trying to make people up to the slavery of the debt-based system, you know, for years now, waking people up to the slavery of the debt-based system.
Yep.
And how do you break the chains of that? It's by getting real money. You know, it's really that simple. You know, it doesn't have to be something that's so difficult that you can't do it. You know, set building wealth and real assets, God's money on autopilot, and you will start to break the chain of poverty. You'll start to break the chains of not having enough, and you'll start to break the chains of not building wealth in your family. You know, because you're going to be able to save more money than you ever saved in your life once you start saving in silver. You know,
That's simple, man.
Yeah.
All right. So anything you want to talk, because Mims, if you guys don't know Mims, he loves XRP. All right. He loves his gold. So anything you want to add?
Silver. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
silver.
is kind of a big deal, but I haven't researched it yet. So you let me know, bro.
I saw the headline, and there's some people who have done more research on it. But obviously, this is just going in alignment with the trend and the narrative that we're seeing, where gold is having a role of significance, and people knowing its value and stability. And so we see Tether launching a new synthetic dollar backed by gold. It's an interesting move by Tether. Tether is also under a lot of scrutiny, and a lot of people are under the impression that Tether could go down here. And we see XRP coming out with a stable coin, and we're seeing that Uphold is dropping Tether and using USDC as Circle. And so there's some movements. This is just to show that there's some movements that are taking place in the new financial system, and we're watching it very closely. And you want to know these assets and know how to acquire them and move around in this space with these assets. And we talk about that as well, with blockchain. But yes, I'm very bullish on XRP. I'm very bullish on XLM and a lot of the projects in these ecosystems. To me, these are not the speculative 100%, 200%, 300% a day, meme coin, make a lot of money, crypto opportunity things out there. These are the real rails that money will be moved around the world. This is the real utility. These are real value. These are the real systems. Everything else, a lot of stuff in crypto is speculation, if you ask me. But there are certain projects, you're going to want to know what you hold, and you want to hold those real assets. And to me, those are the foundations of your crypto portfolio. A lot of those ISO tokens and everything else you can speculate with. And there should be a tiered level. Obviously, meme coins probably at the top, but it should be, whether it's, the layers of the blockchain, layer 0, layer 1 projects, layer 2, layer 3. There are different layers to the crypto space, and maybe you want to allocate your portfolio in that manner. There's so many different ways and things. It's literally, with blockchain and crypto, it's the whole financial system today. It's just opened up in a whole new way where everybody else is able to take advantage. So, we're just excited. We're documenting the collapse in real time while also documenting the emergence of the new economy. And also, so, okay. Yeah. And so, yeah, we fired up and excited, and we're going to catch you guys on the next Runners Live show next week. Look, we did a YouTube and Facebook yesterday where we talked about at cost metals and the ability for you to get silver and gold at cost. Literally, this company has the best pricing on the planet. Okay. There's no company that's beating their prices. We show live every single day how and where to get physical silver and gold at the best price. So if you want to get physical silver, you want to get gold, okay, reach out to whoever shared this out with you, or reach out to me or Mike, and we'll make sure that you get the link so you can create an account, fund your account, purchase your membership, and start getting gold and silver at the best price on a consistent basis. With that being said, be safe, be blessed, lace up, let's get wealthy. You run it with the runners. We out.